episode 7 of Agatha All Along. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I did not cover 5 or 6 because, to be quite honest with you, um, don't really like this show or haven't liked this show since it premiered. um, and I've said this before. People are on here saying this is a terrible show. It's not a bad show. It's just not my thing. Um, Especially going from The Penguin to this. But I will say, this is probably the best episode of the whole series, which concerns me because there's only 2 episodes left, 8 and 9. I believe are the last 2 episodes left. So maybe these last 3 are pull it together and you only have a bad middle part. Because I'm going to be honest with you, and I won't cover them until I do the series review, but I did not like episodes 5 or 6 at all. I thought 6 was better than 5. So with that being said, let's talk about episode 7. And I'll be honest, the reveals in this were pretty easy. I don't know, anybody who reads comic books would know what was coming, but basically we have Agatha and Billy who come across a castle. They do nods to Disney, of course, because Disney can't help itself but to be self-indulgent. And so Agatha is the Wicked Witch of the West, and Teen is Maleficent. The story is centered around Lily, which Lily in the group is supposed to be the clairvoyant, or the one with psychic abilities, tarot cards and tea leaves and all that jazz. So let me talk about the person who is playing Lily. And I gotta say, this is for me probably the best part of the episode. I want to look up this actress's name for a second, because I'm not sure. I haven't really cared enough to find out. Like, I only know who's playing Death and of course Agatha, but I have no clue who was doing these other characters, because to be quite honest with you, I haven't really cared about any of these characters. The deaths haven't hit for me because I don't know. They just don't interest me. But anyways, here we go. Patti LuPone. Yeah. So I'd have to say she is the best part of this episode, and so far probably the best part of the series. So let me get to my positives, and I don't want to give Marvel credit yet in case this shit ends up not being true. I do like the fact in this show they appear to be actually killing people. And this is made pretty clear in this episode, because I was afraid it was going to be one of those Marvel things that they've been doing where it doesn't matter who dies, who fucking cares, because the characters get resurrected anyways, which makes death and stakes meaningless. But apparently, and I don't want to speak too soon, but it appears the people who die in the show actually die. So it brings a certain tension to the story that I really appreciated it. And I gotta say, out of all the episodes, the visuals for this particular episode, just for me, seem to be a lot better. I feel like maybe they're putting a lot into the last few episodes. So Lily has flashbacks, and she's basically going into her memories of when she was a kid. And I liked how this episode played with the perception of time. So it might be annoying to some people, but I like shit like that. So basically, she would jump back to when she was a kid, first learning divination, and then jump forward as if she was seeing stuff when she was a kid that we're seeing in the timeline now, but she's seeing as a kid and then seeing as an adult, kind of going backwards. It's hard to explain, but when you're watching the episode, it actually makes sense. It's a cool little thing with like powers of perception, almost as if she knew what was going to happen to herself. And then as she got older, she just didn't want to know these things. Her story was actually probably the best out of everybody. Apparently, she said she lost her powers but never did. But what happened was, reading people's futures, she saw her whole clan being wiped out by a fever, and she told her elder, but it was too late. And they said, if she says something to the effects of, if that's our fate, then so be it. Like, you can't change your fate. You could see what's coming. You can try to do the best you can before you get to it. There's also a great tie-in. Like I said, this episode is probably the best out of all of these episodes so far, and actually made me excited for the next one. But the other interesting thing about this was how death plays into fate and predictions and things like that. Um, First off, love Audrey Plaza. Probably one of my favorite person working. I knew she was fucking death from the beginning, but I read the comics. Um, but I love how she kind of plays it maniacal, but not. You actually get to see that she is not evil. They're playing it up kind of like she might be evil, but she's not evil. And this divination lady basically says that death is the natural cycle of life. All roads lead to death. So death isn't inherently bad or doing something wrong. Death just is. Agatha being in love with death kind of steals that from both Deadpool and Thanos. So I kind of think that storyline, I don't really like that. It feels forced just to have two women together, but whatever, Disney's going to do Disney. That's the only thing that kind of feels forced, because in 90% of anything that Agatha's been in, that's not her deal. But whatever, I'm not going to complain about that. By this time, we all know Disney does this shit, so it doesn't matter. Back to the episode. I do think out of everybody's death scene, she has the best. Lily has the best death scene. So she is sitting on this. She got done reading the cards. She says her goodbyes to everyone. It was pretty epic. The Salem 7, which whatever the fuck people, or I'm gathering some of them because I don't think that they would kill off these antagonists that quickly, but they all like go into a room and into the tower, and she's had this dream of falling, but she didn't know what it was supposed to mean. And she flips the tower, which has swords on the bottom, and it was her falling to her own death, which then leads us back to when she was a kid and she sees everything that is going to happen to her in her life. I gotta say, what a fucking well put together episode. I like the concept. I think the message also for this episode is much better. But I like the concept of overcoming your fears and insecurities, the questions of life and death. This was the first episode I felt that asked big questions or had mature themes with it, and they actually pulled them off pretty well here. And this is probably my favorite episode of the series. The actress was really good, and I think it moves the story along quite well. With them only being Billy having his trial already, so we have the High Priestess who's next, and then we have I'm gathering Agatha is going to be the last trial. But yeah, it was pretty good. This also made me curious and want to know more, which I think is important. I think the other episodes have just kind of been meh with pursuing me. So now I am intrigued about these final 3 episodes. So the next episodes is going to be 8 and 9, and they're going to be a double release on October 30th. So I think I will give you guys the final. But overall, I'm going to give this episode an 8 out of 10. This is probably my favorite episode of the season. It's really weird to me that the last 3 episodes appear to be the strongest. A lot of people liked 6. I did not like it. I will give my reasons why. A lot of people like 5. I thought 5 was garbage. So I think that if they can pull off 8 and 9, I think these last couple episodes might be the strongest set of episodes. So, um, anyways, that's pretty much all I got. I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. It was a pretty good episode. I'd say this was the best episode of the entire series, hands down. That and one was okay for me, but yeah, the rest of them are kind of been all right. I'm of the opinion if they could do 7, 8, and 9 really well, I think this show would be worth the watch. I don't know if I'd go back through it again, but yeah. Anyways, in the comments below, let me know what do you think of Agatha All Along. There's really a lot of different interesting opinions. Some people really like this show. Some people really hate it. Um, some people who like it uh, make comments to the people who dislike it in their chat. So, hey, if you like the show, please be considerate and tell me your reasons why you like it or don't like it in the comments. Um, but yeah, I'm on the fence. I am willing to give it a shot. We'll see what 8 and 9 does. They will be out October 30th, so it won't be that too far, and we'll see how this ends. I'm really hoping this ends well because this episode was actually stupidly good, and yeah, probably my favorite episode of this season. So hopefully 8 and 9 pull it off good. If not, this is going to seem like a big fucking waste of my time. So, anyways, thank you everybody for watching. I will have the Penguin episode 5 out probably tomorrow. I pushed it back a little bit. Check my watch along for Strange Darlings with Pop Culture PB. And as always, remember, there is only one rule here in the Fandom Zone, before General Zod.